In this lesson, you will learn to write equations in point-slope form. Point-slope form is the equation y minus y sub 1 equals m and in parentheses x minus x sub 1. A line has a slope of m and passes through the point x sub 1 y sub 1. So m is the slope of the line, the x sub 1 value is the x value of the ordered pair, and the y sub 1 is the y value of the ordered pair. So given this information, let's look at the point 2, 3 with a slope of 5. So in this situation, we have one ordered pair, and so that's where that xy, or that x sub 1, that sub 1 means that that's from your first ordered pair. So we can label the point 2, 3 as x sub 1, y sub 1. So given the formula, we can then substitute the information that we have into the formula. So the y sub 1 is 3, so we're going to replace y sub 1 with 3. We are going to replace our m with the value of 5 and our x sub 1 as 2. So we can now write the formula y minus 3 equals 5 and in parentheses x minus 2. So keep in mind that the minus portion is a part of that formula. So it doesn't mean that that's a negative 3 because it's a positive 3 in the ordered pair, but the formula states it's y minus, so that's where those minus comes from. So looking at the point negative 3, negative 2 and a slope of negative 2/3. So we have our x sub 1, y sub 1. And now when we substitute this into the equation, we have y minus our y sub 1, in this case is negative 2. So now we're going to have y minus a negative 2 equals, our slope is negative 2/3, and in parentheses x minus our x sub 1, which is negative 3. So we would write the equation y minus negative 2 equals negative 2/3, and in parentheses x minus negative 3. Keep in mind that when you have a minus negative, we can continue to simplify that. So that means that's the opposite of negative 2, which would then be positive 2. And similar, we have x minus negative 3, so that can be written as the opposite of negative 3, which is positive 3. So then we can simplify that equation and write y plus 2 equals negative 2/3 and in parentheses x plus 3. Now we are going to use point-slope form of each equation to identify a point the line passes through and the slope of the line. So given the equation y minus 9 equals negative 2/3 and in parentheses x minus 7, we need to identify the point that this line goes through and the slope of the line. So looking at the formula above and the equation that we have here, we are looking for our x value of the ordered pair is located right here in the equation. So we can see here that then the x value is 7 and our y value is right here, so we can see that that value is 9. So this equation goes through the point 7, 9. We can then see that our slope is the m in the equation. So in this situation, our slope is negative 2/3. Looking at another example, we have the equation y plus 6 equals negative 4 and in parentheses x minus 8. So our x1 value is right here, so that would be 8. And looking at our y sub 1, this says y plus 6. So keep in mind that those last two examples where we had y minus, if it ends up to be a positive 6, it has to be y minus a negative 6. So in this situation, our x value is a positive 8 and our y value is negative 6. Our slope is located right here in the formula, so our slope is negative 4. Let's look at one more. So we have the equation y minus 5 equals 3/4 and in parentheses x plus 2. So our x value, it says x plus 2. So keep in mind that the formula states that it's x minus. So in order for it to end up to be a positive 2 here, that means it would have to be x minus a negative 2. So our x value in this case would be negative 2. And then our y value is the 5 right there. So our point would be negative 2, 5. Our slope is located right here. So our slope in this situation is 3/4. So I want you to pause the video and complete each of the following practice problems in your notes section of your notebook. When you are finished, push play to check your answers. So in these 3 problems, you are going to use point-slope form of each equation to identify a point the line passes through and the slope of the line. So here are 3 examples for you to try on your own. When you're finished, push play. Okay, given the 3 problems you were just given, the point that is on this line would be -1, -2 with a slope of 3. The next equation was y plus 3 equals 2 and in parentheses x minus 5. So this equation goes through the point 5, -3 with a slope of 2. And lastly, we have y minus 7 equals -5 halves and in parentheses x minus 6. This equation goes through the point 6, 7 and has a slope of -5 halves. So make sure you check your work and the examples that you did in your notebook. Okay, a couple more examples for you to try on your own. So in this situation, you're going to write the point-slope form of the equation with the given slope that passes through the indicated point. So given the point -2, 4 with the slope of -1/3, and given the point 4, 1 with a slope of -2, and going through the point -5, -6 with a slope of 3. So pause the video to write an equation in point-slope form with these pieces of information, and then when you're finished, push play to check your answers. So given the point -2, 4 with a slope of -1/3, you should have written the equation y minus 4 equals -1/3 and in parentheses x minus 2. You could then simplify this further and have the equation y minus 4 equals -1/3 and in parentheses x plus 2. So simplifying this minus negative or opposite of -2. Given the point 4, 1 with a slope of -2, you should write the equation y minus 1 equals -2 and in parentheses x minus 4. That would be the equation in point-slope form. And lastly, given the point -5, -6 with a slope of 3, writing this in point-slope form, you should have y minus -6 equals 3 and in parentheses x minus -5. You could then simplify the minus negative or the opposite of negative in both of these situations, so you would have the equation y plus 6 equals 3 and in parentheses x plus 5. Make sure you have made corrections in your notebook if necessary, and now you're ready to try on your own.